You are listening to The Hayley Osborne Show with me, Hayley, your host. This is your place to learn how to become the superhero marketer in your business, to become the number one in your local community, both online and your surrounding areas. Every week, I'll be teaching you how you can achieve the best out of your marketing, your business, and be the most fearless superhero version of yourself. Small business owners are the backbone of the economy, and I'm here to demystify local area marketing to help you reach more customers. Between myself from South Australia and my wildly inspiring guests from across the world, I'm so excited to discuss all things marketing your business with you. I believe in you, so let's get started. Hello, my lovely, awesome friends, and welcome to another episode of The Hayley Osborne Show. This is episode 55, and this is the very first guest episode that I have had for season 2, so of 2023. I'm very, very excited to bring you my beautiful guest, Donna Hann. Donna is a powerhouse business owner and a mum. And in this episode, I chat all about establishing a healthy work-life blend and how to build a strong business with limited time, aka being a mum. This one is special to me because, I am a mum and I am learning about how to build a strong business with limited time. And Donna is honestly the best person to chat to about this. She is a coach to entrepreneurial women. She is an online program creator. She is a business strategist. She is a mum of 2 boys, and she has her own podcast called She's in Business. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Hi, Donna, and welcome to the Hayley Osborne Show. I am so glad that you are joining me today. Hi.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Oh, no worries. So I have read out your stellar bio separately, but what I'd like to do is I like to get everyone to tell the listeners who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. Well, my name's Donna Hann. I live in a sunny beachside town in regional Queensland. So we're about 600 k's north of Brisbane. And I live here with my family. I've got 2 boys, 10-year-old and 7-year-old, and my husband. And my business journey started, I think, really when I look back at it, really in the footsteps of my parents. They were immigrants from the UK. And when we landed in Australia, it was like, okay, what are we going to do? And they started their own business. So I think that gave me a really good understanding of what running a small business was really all about. And I saw them take it to great heights, and then I saw it all crash down as well as their marriage. And so that was, I guess, really important for me. And I never realized that until I kind of dug a little bit deeper a couple of years ago as to why I was so fierce and interested in small business ownership. But basically, I am a business coach. I've started, grown and sold 3 successful businesses over the years, one pre-kids and the others with kids in tow. And the business that I represent here today is the space that I love. Like, I feel like I've got the best job in the world in that I get to help and support and coach women in business to go from feeling really overwhelmed and exhausted and I guess on the path to burnout, whilst juggling their business and raising a family, to really helping them to transform through that and become a thriving business owner where they're feeling energized and excited and aligned to their core values as they're growing their business to become what it is in their vision, and that's different for everybody. So that's why I feel like I have the best job in the world, because I get to work with women who I guess have that hunger to be more than just a mum. That's why I always talk about that the programs that I create are for mums who are made for more, because I believe that yes, you can be an amazing mum. Yes, you can be present in the moment with them if you build the kind of business that aligns to your core heart center and shaping it in a way that also aligns with your responsibilities of being a parent. It's a lot, but it can be done. And I think that it's important to talk more about that and to share my experiences with other women so that they can enjoy the best of both worlds, which I think we are all within our rights to have, as a, yeah.
Yeah, look, I think that's awesome. And I also am so glad that you agreed to come on my podcast because for me, like that, I'm in that. I am running a business. I have two very small children. I was doing it before, but things have changed for me, even though I was already a master in my business and then add two kids in and it's like, wow, things are different. It looks different. It feels different. I'm different, navigating all of that. And I wanted to use my podcast as well this year. Yes, I love to talk about marketing. I love to talk about helping business owners, but I also want to shine light on like what I'm going through too. And it is hard. It's really hard. So, I mean, what is a healthy work-life balance? What does that look like? Is it a real thing?
Yeah. Well, I actually don't like using the word balance.
Yeah.
I prefer to use the word blend because I don't think that there's ever going to be a perfect balance. I think that doesn't exist. But I do think that you can shape your business and your life to be a blend because there are times when, you might be in a position where the kids are not sleeping very well during the day. And therefore, when do you get your work stuff done? You also have a responsibility to your clients to show up for them. And so that might mean that in that moment in time, you're working at nighttime because during the day, you just physically can't do it. And that's where it's a work-life blend. And it will shift and change. It will ebb and flow at all different seasons of business and life. It's never going to be perfect. And that's why I don't use the word balance because it's just, I don't know, it's just, it actually feels kind of icky. I don't like using that word at all. And it's, I think as well, I remember when I first had my first alone time with my newborn baby when he was first born. And in that moment where I'd just given him a bath, we were still in hospital, and I'd just given him a bath and he was there, and, that sudden moment where you're looking at this little baby on your bed, dressing him, that you go, holy shit, this is, this is now my responsibility. This little person is now something that I have to learn to raise. Like, how do I do this? And, you sort of, it's a magical moment. It was a beautiful moment. It was etched into my mind. And then, I later that night said to my husband, look, you go home. I've totally got this. I'm so good. Like, he's been amazing. It's all good. And that night was the most horrendous night. I think it was like night number 3. My milk came in. I was like an emotional mess. I was tired. He wouldn't settle. Like, it was fucking awful. Like, it was the worst night ever. And I went from being like, I'm amazing, I can be the best mum and I've totally got this, to being like, I can't do this. You need to get back here at the hospital now. And I think sometimes being in business is like that too, where you're like,
oh
I've
my
got this.
gosh,
it feels good.
Yes.
And then something changes.
Can I just say 100% having a business has made me a better mother because you have peaks and troughs in your business all the time. There's highs, there's lows. Sometimes the lows feel worse than the highs. And being a mum, especially for the first time, it's exactly the same. It's like, oh, they're doing it. It's working, sleeping, la, la, la. And then it's like, oh my God, my life is falling apart. How do I stop it? And yes, or you're like, I've got this. I'm about to leave the house. I've got to do this thing and da da da. And then they've just shit through their whole outfit, and you're like, I don't got this. Why did you have to do this at this time? But I think as number 2 child rolls around, it's like, you're gonna do that at that time because that's just what they do to test you.
Yeah. And I think it's that beautiful correlation between business and raising kids that, you just get them into a routine or a pattern, and then they hit a milestone, or they take a, what's the word when they go backwards? It doesn't matter. Regression?
Yeah.
Yes. When they take that regression, and you're like, oh, hang on, wait, but what's going on here? And it's the same with business. And I think it's really about that that healthy work-life blend, that the question that you originally started with, I think it's acknowledging that it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be just right the way that you may want it to be, but it's about being flexible. It's about being adaptable, both as a parent and as a business owner. And it does also really start with aligning your core, like understanding what your core values are. And that does change. You said to me, like, you mentioned, like, you've changed from where before when you weren't a parent to now being a mother. It changes us at our core in ways that I don't think we necessarily understand or even acknowledge at the beginning, because we don't realize it. But I've had a lot of time to really dig in and reflect and get to what my core values are, because there's been a few really big challenges. And I think when you have some really big challenges, both in business and on a personal level, it forces you to then go, hold on a minute, there's something here that's not really working. What's going on? And getting really clear about what your core values are, and then shaping or reshaping, if you're already in business, reshaping your business to align with those core values will then help you to unpack your purpose and your why for what you do in your business and why you feel so strongly about it. It'll help you to really build out all of the foundations of your business and the way that you want your business to run, the hours you want to work, the style in which that you want to work, the type of people, your ideal clients and customers that you want to work with. And then from that, you create your big picture vision for where you want your business to grow. And I think it also works the same with your family as well, right? In knowing what your core values are and how you want to shape your little family, and what kind of values and lessons you want to instill for your kids, and how you want your relationship to be, so that it models to your children as to what a healthy relationship really looks like, so that they then can enter into healthy relationships when they're fully grown. It's all of that. And I think it all really comes from those core values, and it shouldn't be underestimated of how powerful those things are.
I think you and I, my parents actually got divorced when I was 7, I think it was. And like for me now, like in, my relationship with my future husband, who we're a product of COVID. So we were supposed to get married pre-kids, and then we've had like 4 wedding dates, and now we have like the 5th or 6th one coming up this August. It's ridiculous. So we decided to just go and have kids, and I'm marrying into a big Italian family. So like the small wedding wasn't really an option, and all the things. So it's like, what does that look like? I'm in that where, I want my children they're being raised like with 2 parents in the house and that love each other. And what do those values look like? And it's lovely. Not saying that, I was raised a certain way and, we turned out all right, like my brother and I. So I think my next question was, because I think if you have limited time, right, whether you are a mum or whether you are not, whether you might run, I know I have a client of mine, she's got 2 businesses, and one of them she wants to build more, and the other one is just like huge and she wants to move away from. But so I think there's lots of people that are time poor for very different reasons. But what would you recommend on how to build a strong business with limited time? So AKA being a mum, or AKA having 2 businesses, but you want to focus on the other one, but you can't, because like what's your like number one thing that you would give advice to?
The first word that pops into my head is boundaries. I think that, boundaries is one of those things where I think, especially when we're being a mum and growing a business, we want to say yes to so many opportunities, and we want to give, and we want to overserve, and we want to impress, and we want to build that really strong word of mouth and all of those kinds of strategies in our business. And often that comes from, surprising people and over delivering and going above and beyond. And I think that those things are absolutely really important and should be part of your strategy. But I also think that you need to make sure that there are boundaries around that as well. Because if you don't have boundaries around that, the thing that suffers is your energy, and you'll burn the candle at both ends. So I always talk about making sure that you are building your business in such a way that you're looking after the three sides of you, which is the business owner. So the mindset that we have as a business owner, ensure that that is strong and resilient, and then we get back up and we keep falling forwards and always looking for ways to improve, and that kind of thing. And then there's also the mother. We need to be making sure that we are always nurturing that side of us as well, and that we can do those things. And then there's the self-care element, which is about you. When you're not wearing the business hat, when you're not wearing the mum hat, what about you as a person, as a standalone, like, human being? And that can be really hard to pay any attention to when you're in the thick of, especially when your babies are small, or when your business is really young and you're in that kind of messy stage, or when you're in that like full scale and growth stage. That can be really hard. But what we all know, and this is, I think it's Dr. Libby Weaver who says, why do we do the things we do when we know the things we know? And this is one of those things where you go, self-care. We all know we should be looking after ourselves. We all know that if we don't work, nothing works. But yet it's often the thing that falls to the bottom of the list. Whereas when we have boundaries in place, it means that we can be really clear about what we're going to say yes to and what we're going to say no to, because either of those answers will have a knock-on effect to the other. So if I say yes to stretching myself and working like crazy hours into the wee hours of the morning, it means that I'm going to wake up probably feeling pretty grumpy because I'm not a great person when I don't get enough sleep. I might be more snappy with my kids. I might be more snappy with my husband. In your situation, Hayley, it might affect your milk flow. Like, there's all these things that happen, right? And so I'm saying yes to this, but it means I'm also saying no to feeling energized and being my best self and being present with my kids in that moment because I'm just too tired to be there. Or I can't give as much to my clients. Or if I say yes to maybe taking on an extra client, and I like to work within school hours. Yep. So if I work past 3:00, that's giving a message to my kids that doesn't align with my core values. So therefore, I've got to be really careful with what I say yes and no to. So time management is really important. And boundaries is a massive part of that time management, in always asking yourself, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? How could I manage my time more effectively? If I want to do all the things, how am I going to be able to do that? What's the compromise? Because there will always be a compromise somewhere, and you don't want it to be your own self-care, because that just is... Yeah.
I got really good at actually sharing my calendar with Mark. And I have blocked out days where I'm mumming and days where I'm working. And like you said, it's the blend, not the balance. And I have color coded the shit out of it, because then I can visually, without even looking at it, I know, right, personal, kids, like business strategy. What does that look like? Membership, where's my time allocated? So I'm not even like having to read it. I just see the colors and I know them now. And that has helped me so much with my just like mentally where I'm at that week. And I'm, it's such a beautiful feeling.
Yeah. And I have a really great free planner that people can access, which is really good way to eliminate that overwhelm and get really clear upon what are the things that are really going to move your business forwards, and do those things. Because I think sometimes we can get so distracted by the shiny things and want to do all of the different things, but they're not necessarily the things that really need to be done, or the things that are actually going to return you that, moving the needle forward and actually pushing your business to where you want it to go. So that planner will help you to brain dump everything out of your head to eliminate that overwhelm. It'll help you to map out what things need to be done now, tomorrow, who can you delegate to, do they need to be done at all? And then you can actually schedule it out day by day in blocks of time to actually get everything done. And the other thing I love about it's got a checkbox.
I love that.
Checking it off. It's an awesome little hit of dopamine that we all need to go, yes, I'm doing it. It may not be being done perfectly, but I'm doing it. I'm in there. I'm living my best life. And that is just awesome. So you can grab that.
Yeah. Where can my listeners grab that, please? Because that sounds good.
If you go to donnahann.com/free planner, you'll be able to grab it from there. It's also on the homepage of my website as well.
So good. And also, if people want to find you, where can they find you? How can we spruik everything about you so you're easy to find?
Yeah, so I run a couple of different things. I have a 8-week group coaching program called Ready to Rise. That will really help you to get clear on what your core values are and how you want to shape your business to move forward, as well as all of the different foundations that you need from a business perspective in setting it all up properly. And there's also some self-care and tips around like really managing your family as well within that. So there's that program. I have my Soaring to Success membership, which is a whole bunch of different things thrown in, but basically some masterclasses and some both on business and mindset. As well as some online networking and 90-day planning and all those sorts of things. And then I have my podcast, but you can find all of that stuff on my website. So it's donnahann.com. Instagram is Donna_Hann_SIB for She's in Business.
Love it.
They're probably the best places to find me, but yeah. It's all
so
there's always so
good.
much to share and yeah.
Well, if you are driving, listening to this or walking or doing other things besides being at your desk with a notepad, the show notes will be on my website and everything Donna mentioned will be in there for you to access easily so you can find it. Donna, it has been so lovely. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I love chatting with you. We have so much in common.
Yeah, we really do. And I hope that we can continue our conversations because there's always so much I learn from you and hopefully I can share with your listeners as well. So thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Donna. I'll see you soon. Bye.
See ya.
I hope you've enjoyed listening to this episode. If you have, hit subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes released every Tuesday. And while you're there, leave me a review. I would absolutely love to read it. Also, don't forget to tag me at Hayley K Osborne, HAYLEYK OSBORNE over on Instagram and share this podcast with your audience so they can get learning too. If you want more, head over to hayleyosborne.com.au/podcast for today's show notes and links. I've also got an awesome free ebook, a new one, waiting for you on my website, The 10 Essentials Every Local Area Marketing Plan Needs. And I will catch you next week for another episode of The Hayley Osborne Show.